Developing news tonight, notorious Mexican drug trafficker and one of the FBI's most wanted criminals, Rafael Caro Quintero, is in custody tonight.
Mexican authorities captured Quintero earlier today, nearly a decade after he was released from a Mexican prison, a decision a court overturned shortly after. He served time for the kidnapping and murder of DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena.
CBS 8's Rocio de la Fe spoke to a former San Diego narcotics prosecutor and assistant U.S. attorney. She joins us now with more on what this arrest means for the U.S. and Mexican authorities. Rocio?
That's right. This that you see here is a San Diego law enforcement memorial that stands in honor of those who've lost their lives in the line of duty. Among the names listed there is that of Enrique Kiki Camarena, a DEA agent killed by Rafael Caro Quintero. Quintero is a former leader of the Guadalajara cartel and one of the most prolific drug traffickers of his generation.
Mexican authorities have arrested Rafael Caro Quintero, known as the narco of drug traffickers. The former leader of the Guadalajara cartel was behind the murder of DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena in 1985 and was on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. His arrest comes nearly a decade after he was released from a Mexican prison after serving 28 years out of his 40-year sentence. Former U.S. attorney and federal prosecutor Patrick O'Toole described Quintero's arrest as welcoming and long overdue.
It absolutely is a good step in the right direction. It's one good development. Drugs are terrible. I mean, they do terrible things, and the money and violence behind it are perhaps the worst of all. So I applaud the fact that he's been caught.
O'Toole worked narcotics cases during his time in the DEA's office and remembers the brutal murder of agent Enrique Camarena.
I can remember his son, young son at the time, who's now a judge himself, being there. So it was a very sad affair when his remains were brought back to the United States.
Editor of the TijuanaPress.com, Vicente Calderon, says his capture means more to the U.S. than it does to Mexico.
This is a symbolic operation for the DEA, who has been looking for this suspect from 1985.
Calderon says Camarena lost his life at a time when Quintero was at the height of his drug trafficking career.
Kiki Camarena was one of the most important agents in terms of prosecuting and understanding the way these guys were operating.
Despite his arrest, O'Toole thinks Quintero's capture won't do much to put a stop to drug trafficking.
A cartel takes a hit when its leaders go down, and sometimes they're able to be replaced, sometimes they aren't, sometimes a rival cartel takes over. So, it's still a welcome development, but as long as the demand for drugs is there, and as long as drug dealing, drug trafficking is so profitable, it's not like, if you cut off the head of this snake, it's like a hydra and other heads come back.
And Calderon agrees.
We are not sending that much marijuana, but the appetite for fentanyl in the U.S. is growing.
If Quintero and Camarena sound familiar, that's because their stories were featured in the Netflix drama series Narcos Mexico.